Hey, welcome to the Keep It Cute Show. I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Nakia, and I want to introduce our guest for the day, the amazing singer, author, mom, reality TV star, Miss Winter Harris.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes.
So this episode, we're going to talk about being a hopeful romantic, about how to navigate breakthroughs, as we would like to call it on this show.
Not a breakup,
Not breakthroughs, right? And keeping that resiliency when it comes to your heart and love and just having an optimistic attitude.
Yes.
So, let's talk about it.
Let's talk.
So I know you from Love and Marriage DC.
Yes.
And people have seen you on there, and you have shared your life and your romantic, I don't want to call them escapades, but your romantic experiences,
yes.
which is a little bit of a roller coaster. You've shown your highs and your lows.
Absolutely.
And let's just talk about how it has been to share your romance and your relationships on reality TV.
Which is incredibly brave, by the way.
So brave.
That's a brave thing
As
to do.
people that have done it before.
Right.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
I mean, it takes a lot of courage, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the easiest thing to do because you are under the public eye, you're under public scrutiny.
Yeah.
And people don't always get all of the ins and outs of the story.
Right.
So you're having to navigate what they see and what they don't see versus like what is reality and what you're really navigating. Season 1, I was actually going through a divorce.
Signing papers.
Yes.
Sing that song for us.
Sign my papers and give me my divorce.
Mm-hmm.
I was, man, that was a tough season. It really was a tough season. And I don't think people really understand how difficult it was to navigate that type of divorce, because I wasn't just dealing with the chaos of the show. I was dealing with chaos in my life because this was someone I was only married to for a year. And there was so much deceit and betrayal. So I was navigating that along with dealing with my castmates.
Right.
So that was hard. And to be judged off of very little of the story, like people didn't get the whole, totality of the story. Of course,
Like
they tell
3%.
It was 3%, and it's a very juicy story, right?
So when people get that 3%, they run with it. They will tell you about your own life.
Absolutely. So dealing with that judgment was very hard because I'm like, no, you guys don't really understand. Like this was deceit at the highest level.
Yes.
Like I was dealing with potential lawsuits, not against me, but he was getting ready to have them. It was a lot of people that were impacted by his lies.
Yeah.
So that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever been through in my life. And I've been through a divorce before. So I was dealing with disappointment. Who wants to have 2 divorces?
Right.
I would never in a million years think that would be my story.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, first marriage didn't work out, but that was due to infidelity.
And you put in the work for that first marriage.
You
did everything you could to make it work through challenges.
Absolutely. 15 years. That's a lot more than a lot of people can say these days. 4 kids later. I really tried, but it did not work out.
Into the 4 kids part?
Absolutely.
Are you serious? Like looking
When she told me that, I was like, she has 4 kids? I never would have thought.
Yes. So I'm very protective of my kids. I don't showcase them a lot online just because, they've lived a very public life as it is. Their dad played in the NFL. So we let them have their life. Our life is our life, but they get to have their piece. That's great. So we do our best to protect them. But I have a 22-year-old.
And you look 29. Let's be clear.
So 22, 20, 16, and 13.
Wow.
So we have a set of bigs and a set of littles. So we've gotten 2 out of the house and we got 2 more to go. But the kids are amazing. I really am proud that regardless of us like not working out as a married couple, we literally banded together to make sure that we were there for them.
That's great.
And they are incredible human beings, very smart. Definitely a mirror because they look like their dad and they act like me, which is good and bad sometimes. But you guys met my 2 older children in season 1 of Love and Marriage DC. And then the littles are in this season of Love and Marriage DC. So you guys will get to meet them. But yeah, so we had 4 kids. We tried. The infidelity for me, when you start making children outside of our union,
deal breaker.
There's only so much I can take. And I tried after the first one, but the second one I could not.
You tried after the first baby.
To stay.
So he had a baby outside of your marriage and you stayed.
Correct, with our nanny.
What made you stay?
So I grew up, my parents were pastors.
Okay.
I grew up in I'm a PK. I grew up very churched, very religious. you pray it away.
Yeah.
You pray for God to fix it.
Mhm.
You pray for God to help him keep it in his pants, right? You stand by your man. That's the culture that I was raised in.
Yeah.
And I get it to a certain degree. I don't feel like people always go through infidelity and end up divorced. That's not true. There's too many cases of success after infidelity.
Right.
But in this particular case, the infidelity never stopped. And when you talk about someone as close as our nanny, like this is someone that was in my house taking care
Every
of my
day.
kids.
Smiling in your face.
Smiling in my face.
All that,
We planned her graduation party. Like she was legitimately a part of our family. That was probably one of the most difficult things I've had to walk through.
Deceitful.
Yes. And that type of betrayal, like when I say I completely understand the episodes, what is the show?
Snapped on the Ivy channel here.
Give me my orange jumpsuit.
Yes. I, in that moment, would never judge anyone that was ever in a moment of, this is a lot. Like, and I tell people, like, when you cheat, you are playing with your life because everyone cannot handle that type of betrayal. So I made it through. Thank God for Jesus and therapy because I needed both. But I managed. And after that, we really came to an agreement of, okay, we still have these 4 kids to raise. Let's do what's best for them. And honestly, it's been a pretty solid, uneventful co-parenting situation. Like our kids are really, really good. And they've had
That's great.
the best of both worlds. So I've been really grateful for that. He's always been an amazing dad and I'll never take that from him. Like, yes, horrible husband, he would agree, but he's a phenomenal father. He really, really is. And so I'm grateful that we've made it through to the other side. So I was single for, I'm trying to think, what year did we divorce? 2015.
Okay.
I want to say 2015. I could be off by a year by a year. But anyway, 2015, I'm going to go with that. And then I was single until 2020.
Is that when you met Kevin?
Correct.
Okay. How did you meet Kevin?
So I met him through church. You see the reoccurring theme here?
Yeah.
So yeah, met him through church. We were doing a lot of community work together, working on a foundation that was budding.
Wow.
So we really just kind of developed more so of a friendship. I wasn't initially attracted to him because he was so much older than me. And y'all, I did not do older men. I just was like, this is not my thing. However,
how much older?
19 years.
Oh, wow, honey.
I didn't know that. Wow.
19 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, he did not look like he looked on Love and Marriage DC. He clearly had looked like his bridge over troubled water had collapsed. But
Not even collapsed.
I'm just saying.
He definitely looked like he was going through some things.
Yeah.
But he did not look like that when I met him. And everyone that knew him prior was like, yeah, he definitely did not look like that. I would never have entertained it at all. All that to say, our connection was more so ministry. At that time, I had became an ordained minister. I was doing revival tours, teaching master classes across, literally internationally. We would do master classes for thousands of women.
Wow.
That was my life. So for him to be there, that wasn't strange. For strange as it may seem to the outside world, in my world, it was not strange. It's just that he was older. So he was suave and sweet talked his way on in. We agreed to wait until marriage. We didn't even kiss until we got engaged. It was like that whole practice. Yeah.
Do you regret some of that in retrospect?
No, I don't. Not with him. I don't know that I necessarily subscribe to that these days, but in that situation, no. I understood why I was committed to it, and I don't regret it at all. All that to say, I do feel like I didn't listen to my gut because there was a point I did want to call up the engagement because of something that occurred. And because our courting process was so highly publicized in the church world, I'm going to be honest, I was too embarrassed to be like, okay, this is not going to go forward. So I own that I moved forward knowing full well there was some things that I thought were off.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, and this was in the middle of COVID, so no one was going over anyone's house.
Right.
I actually have 2 autoimmune disorders, so I was on serious instruction not to go over people's houses. So he was able to get away with a lot that I feel like he wouldn't have been able to get away with if it was not for COVID. All that to say, we still move forward, and it's like the lies never stopped getting exposed.
Oh my goodness.
From the moment we said I do, it was like a downward spiral. And finally the straw broke the camel's back and it ended up filing for divorce.
They say sometimes the universe sends you the same lesson twice. Do you feel like that was a situation where they was teaching you, like, listen to your intuition, Winter, listen when, like, do you feel like in retrospect there was like a lesson to be learned maybe the second time around?
I think my lesson to be learned was not moving so fast.
Yeah.
Because that was, I mean, to be quite transparent and honest, the kids and I, Dad, we didn't date that long either before we got married. We were probably dating for like 9 months.
Oh, so you're a free fall type of person.
Yes. I am the hopeless of all hopeless romantics. That is literally ingrained in my soul. Like, I believe in all the bells and whistles and the things.
Me too. I'm the same way.
Yes. So, yeah, this lesson swung back around and I didn't pass it. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, what is really going on? I will say I'm grateful for the experience. I didn't like it, of course, but I'm grateful for it because it served as a mirror for how I was doing things personally, how I was doing things as far as my spiritual walk. I'm still very much connected to my faith, but I'm not as religious. Yeah. And I feel like it took that situation to kind of, like, I don't know what you want to call it. Like, I had to go through a whole detox in a sense, a religious detox, because a lot of it was just foolishness.
And I agree with that. So I churched as well. Okay. And I feel like when you're in the church, some things are kind of left unsaid that need to be spoken.
Absolutely.
Like, we're taught, like, when you're courting and when you're dating and getting to know someone, that some things you don't talk about. You said you didn't even kiss them until you were engaged. You believe in celibacy.
Yes.
And all of these things, you're trying to protect the relationship by not having these conversations, but then you end up in a marriage where it's like, you know what? We should have talked about this.
Absolutely. A lot of things go swept under the rug.
Under the rug.
And then too, I just feel like we're also taught kind of backwards. And I say this, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that we teach people in church that if it's God, it shouldn't take that long. And in essence, I don't believe love was ever meant to be rushed. If it's real, if it's true, it'll stand the test of time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And so why do we teach people that? It's because of our own impatience, and a lot of that has to do with the idea of waiting and have sex.
Yeah.
So I honestly, and I've been very transparent about this as well. I'm like, I think God would rather for us to just sin at this point and have a little tail on the side.
Don't say that too loud. You know, the States are real judgy.
I mean, they done judged me already, so it is what it is. But I really just feel that way. I would rather have a slip up in the bedroom than to marry someone and you end up in a situation like me. I just literally had to essentially divorce him and divorce the whole idea of it and really start from ground zero and build my relationship with God on my own. Yeah. And make sure that connection was solid versus all the things that I had been taught.
All the rules and expectations.
All the things.
And restrictions.
Absolutely. And that has been very helpful, which is how we get to, season 2 of Marriage.
So we get through that one. So now we get to season 2B, or whatever they want to call it now. They're real weird with season numbers and titles. But so we're at 2B, and you're introduced to a gentleman on Sherelle and Black's podcast, right? So Mr. Yusha. Yes. So sorry. So Mr. Yusha, you're introduced to him, and then we're going to watch your love journey with him this season.
Correct. So where the audience is picking up is that we've been introduced, we've started dating, and so now we're in the continuation of that dating. And Winter is being Winter. Winter is a hopeless romantic.
Sucker for love.
Definite sucker for love. We were definitely, what do we call it? We called it... we were intellectually connected. Okay. A lot of great, intellectual chemistry. We could talk for hours about
making love to your mind.
Absolutely. Like that. Like, for a woman that believes in education and exercising your mind, that's very attractive to me. I think a smart man is a sexy
with a good vocabulary.
Yes.
So good.
So he was very smart. Okay. So I would say we were very intellectually connected. And that is what really kind of drew us together initially. A lot of people question whether or not the relationship was real. I'm like, well, A, I didn't bring him on this show. 2, I ain't paying for nothing. I don't think I'm ugly. So I think I have a pretty good chance of finding somebody. I don't have to pay somebody to be on here. But for us, it really was, we just connected intellectually, and that kind of sparked the chemistry moving forward. But you'll see as the season progresses that doesn't last long. And what I will say, I won't give it away. I'll let the audience continue to watch. But one of the things I'm most proud of with this season is that Winter slowed herself down.
Good.
And we didn't, have these discussions about rushing down the altar. In fact, last night's episode, I was telling my sister, I couldn't confidently say that he was the one. I was just allowing myself to feel what I felt. And I said I was in very much a love care space with him.
So when you said that, love care, what does love care mean?
Love care means my feelings are starting to get strong. Okay. It doesn't mean I'm head over heels to the point where it's like, oh, mama, I think I found the one that's going to be, your next your next son-in-law. I wasn't there.
Okay.
It really wasn't there. And like I said, you guys will get to see why I felt that way.
Okay.
But for me, I was just like, it's okay to feel.
Yeah.
But learn your lessons. Like you open your eyes.
Yeah. You care
pay
for
attention.
him. You're getting to the love portion,
Correct.
But you're not in love with him yet.
Absolutely. And we had discussed, I think, last week about meeting each other's kids. And I don't know that they put my confessional in there. I actually did a confessional about this, but I promised my kids moving forward that I wouldn't wait so long to introduce them to people.
Okay.
My kids are not toddlers. My youngest is 13.
I was going to ask how they feel about some of this.
So my 13-year-old asked me, she was like, Mom, do you have a man yet? I'm very protective.
Kids, I tell you, they will ask you the tough questions. Who needs Gail King when you got kids?
Let's talk about it.
So I've always been very selective about who I bring to my kids.
As you should be.
And I really have always taken that seriously. So to them, it doesn't seem like I date a lot. Because I date, but I just don't share, right? Yeah. And I don't feel like I should involve them unless I feel like it's getting serious. So at this point, Yusha and I had decided to date exclusively. My kids are not dumb. They're actually quite smart. Their mom is not going out on these dates with nobody.
Right.
So they started to ask questions. So I'm like, okay, my kids are starting to ask questions. I think it's important that you meet them. So
did he have kids?
He had one.
Okay.
He had one. So, and so they all meet at this meeting, which was fine. Like I didn't have an issue with that and he didn't either. So I thought it was good, but I was honoring my promise that I made to them. And my kids are also very discerning.
I was going to say, what did they think?
Yes, they were very discerning. And so I'll wait to share what they share because it's later on.
Okay.
But I'm glad that I was starting to put certain practices in place that would curb that free fall attitude that I've typically always had. So I'm very proud of how I went through this season and navigated that relationship publicly. I think the fans will be very proud of me of how I navigated, especially coming off of first season where it was just like, girl, did you know, what was you doing? So no, I'm very grateful for it. And I feel like I've learned a lot of lessons, but I've always kept my heart open. I think regardless of what I've been through a lot in my love life. I've been through a lot in my life, but I'm grateful that it hasn't hardened me.
Yeah. How do you stay open? Like for women out there who maybe have had a few relationships that didn't work out, maybe they have a few divorces under their belt. Like, how would you advise them to stay open?
I think a lot of that is rooted in my faith. I don't feel like God will ever let the last that I had be the best that I had.
Come on.
I just feel like He's faithful like that. If it was bad, He's not going to let that be my last experience.
Right.
So I think, my faith has been very instrumental in
so
just
you trust in Him.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I feel like what you carry is what attracts. And so I try to carry an open heart. I try to carry an open mind. I always try to lead with love. I always try to believe the best.
Good intentions. All
that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I believe you get that back. I feel like it is never, so I always say this, and I think I had tweeted this last week maybe, and I said, there's never any harm in having loved and loved well.
Yes, I saw you tweet that.
Yes. And that's true. You don't lose by trying to love someone well.
Even if it doesn't work.
Even if it doesn't work.
Love better.
Shakespeare, it's better to have loved than lost than to have never loved at all.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And some people never get that experience.
Exactly.
So I'm like, take it all in stride. I feel like as long as you have breath in your body, you have another opportunity
to love
again.
Exactly. I think I said the same thing on our season with Paul. He was like, have you had your heart broken? I was like, 2 too many times to count.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't make me bitter. It doesn't make me jaded. If you love and you believe that this is what is going to be in your life and you are called to love and be loved, I don't care how many times my heart is broken.
Right.
I'm going to still fight for it, love it, and be open to it when it comes in its proper form.
Absolutely.
And I believe in seasons and reasons.
Yeah.
Oh,
for
so
love
true.
too. You know what I mean?
Oh, honestly, I'm grateful for the experience with Yusha because one of the things I felt like was kind of residue from the situation with Kevin was that I didn't trust myself after that situation. And I felt like the Yusha experience was literally God showing me, like, you've got this. You can trust yourself.
Sometimes we need those bridges. He's not a destination. He's a bridge to get you to the next location.
Like, trust yourself. You're good, girl. You just got to listen when you feel or
you know I told you. Now you got to hear me when I say.
You got to respond.
Yeah.
So, I'm grateful for it. I don't regret it at all. I feel like, I think I tweeted this. I said, Yusha was useful. Yeah. And he was. Yeah. He was a lesson.
Reason and
Are there
season.
any other changes in you feel like since?
Oh man, I'm so much stronger.
Come on.
I am so much stronger. I feel like the strength, and I feel like I've always been a person of strength. I think most of my friends would probably assign that to me as a character asset. But I feel like the strength that I have after everything I've been through now is on 1,000. Like, I feel like I can.
If I could overcome that.
I can do anything.
Yes.
Oh, I can do anything.
It's not just the strength, it's the confidence too.
That was my next word. I'm like, in the confidence. Absolutely. I'm just at a really, really solid place in my life. And I tell people all the time, like, I don't know what it is about turning 40 and getting into your 40s.
Come on.
But I really feel like I know who I am. I know what I want. I know my purpose, and that's what I work towards every single day.
Because we're the same age. And so I know that when I got to this age, it was like a serenity almost.
Yes.
It's like just a piece of, you get scared when you get into your 40s. 40 was a hard age, but 41 was even harder because you feel like you're in it. But now, at 42, you know, we're 81, baby. I mean, I
don't care.
Okay. We're 81, baby.
Look amazing.
She's not. She's a little younger.
I'm like right behind you. Right
but
there.
At the same time, when we get to this point, it's like a confidence. It's a peace. It's like, I know who the hell I am.
Yeah.
I know what I want, and I'm comfortable with that.
Absolutely.
I don't need to try to change or shift or try to make somebody else comfortable. No. Like, in my space, this is it.
It's okay to be different.
It's okay.
It's okay to be different, and I'm too old to care.
Too old to care. Exactly.
But
I'm young enough to enjoy it. You know
what I mean? Gosh. I when I say every day, at least for the last year, I would say this has been some of the best days of my life as a person. Only because the confidence, the faith, I feel like the universe is responding to the things that I've actually put out there. Like the work that I've put in, the time that I put in, the heartache that I put in, like all those things are finally starting to come back to me. So I'm just like,
I love that for you.
I love it.
Because I've been divorced too, and I feel like it was the worst but best thing that ever happened to me, because I felt like I was able to like find parts of myself that I didn't really know existed, or find parts or like affirm parts of myself that I was like, no, I am strong. I am all these things.
Absolutely.
I may not have described myself like that before, but this shows that I am.
Absolutely.
So I'm really so happy to hear you have that clarity.
Yes.
And that self-grounding. That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm grateful for it. I think it's been, and I'm like, the saints is going to crucify me when I said the universe, but I'm like, what else are you going to call it? But I just, in the atmosphere, but I just,
God made it all.
Yes. But I'm just like, I feel like the seeds that I've sown, whether it has been in tears, whether it has been in heartbreak, heartache, I literally have had a couple of near death experiences.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I feel like God has spared my life so many times, and I finally gotten to a place where, okay, all those things are finally like coming into focus. It's like, okay, let's rock. Like,
Yeah.
it's literally time to
Yeah.
live this life that you've granted me.
Exactly.
And didn't have to. So
Can I just cheers to that?
Cheers to that.
That's powerful
Exactly.
right there.
Cheers to
Cheers
that.
to that.
So
Cheers.
same for me. So I'm a cancer survivor, and so I talk about it all the time. It was like after I beat it, it's like I want to live even more.
Yes,
I want to enjoy every day. I'm not going to say, oh, I'll figure it out later, or I'm going to deal with not being happy right now because it'll, eventually it'll change. No. I'm going to appreciate every day. I'm going to maximize every day.
Yes.
I'm going to really enjoy the life that God gave me a second chance for.
Absolutely.
You were very much a go-getter.
Yes. Yeah. Every day is going to be full.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you never know when, literally, I just had a friend pass away, same age as us. Mm-hmm. He coached and worked and everything. He was a football coach. He went to sleep at night one night and didn't wake up. 42 years old with 3 young children. I'm going to speak his name. Cody Allen Gordon was a friend since 1995. And from that experience, it also reassured me that, no, every day is a gift. And, I'm not going to sit and mess, whether it's work or family or a relationship that doesn't serve me. We're going to maximize this life that we're
given.
Time
is precious.
It is.
It's so precious. So, Winter.
Yes.
We've talked a lot about what's happened, but what's happening? What's happening with Winter right now? So that's what we want to know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So
look at how good it is.
Love it. Come on. A brown girl is blushing. I love a brown girl blush. Brown girl blush. Come on.
So coincidentally, and this is a true story, I actually went to a networking event the night before I was introduced to Yusha on the show.
Okay.
So I had a networking event. The next night, I was scheduled to go to the Nips juice bar where I met him for their podcast. So I went to this networking event. I was scheduled to be a panelist there, biding time until my time was ready to, up to speak. And the DJ says, turn to the person next to you and introduce yourself. And I'm just standing there. Well, a person turns to me and introduces himself. And I'm like, okay, So we just struck up a conversation. And so he was like, I see you're here to speak. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, well, what's this? Love and Marriage DC. And he was like, what is that? And I was like, well, it's a reality show. And he was like, well, tell me about it. I don't watch reality TV. And I was like,
Amen.
Yeah, he doesn't watch reality TV. So I'm like explaining the show. And he was like, oh, I think my boy is on that show. And I was like, well, who's your boy? He was like, Quicksilver. Come on.
Okay.
I was like, Jesus Christ. Now,
the world's so small.
Now it's very small.
Smaller.
Yes. So let me explain why this is an issue. The Silvas and I had not resolved our rift at this point. So at the time, when he says this, I'm like,
don't go asking them about me.
Exactly. So he was like, we're all getting ready to fly out to Houston. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, they're close.
Yes. So I'm like, yeah, well, okay. It's been nice meeting you. I think we're good here. Yeah. So he was like, well, let me give you my business card. Maybe we can meet up sometime and we can find some platonic business to pass around. I'm like, okay, I'm here for that. Next day, I go on set and I'm introduced to Yusha. I don't know Yusha prior to that. Didn't know he was going to be there. Literally, this was a surprise.
So you really didn't know?
Oh, no, I really didn't know.
Yeah. Okay.
No, all I was told by production was to look cute.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, say less.
Yeah.
I look good. So I was introduced to him the next day. Fast forward, he did end up going to Houston. And when he got back, he hit me up and he was like, are you down to meet up for coffee? And I'm like, sure, no problem.
I love a coffee date. You ain't got to wait for a bill.
I love coffee.
Dip out whenever I need to.
So I'm like, sure, no problem. So we meet in Georgetown for coffee. And I was like, I got 30 minutes. I got to be on set. And I literally had to film a scene later that day. And he was like, okay, no problem. It won't be too long. I just wanted to at least honor what I said. 2 hours later.
I'm not a good conversation.
Great conversation.
Okay.
And honestly, we both are PKs. So we had a lot in common. We both have been married before. When I say it was like talking to an old friend. And so he was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't realize it was 2 hours later. Do you think we can do this again? Like, we can get to the business of it all? And I'm like, sure. He was like, how's your Monday looking next week? I'm like, that's fine. Now, in this time, I'm not thinking that this is anything. I'm getting to know Yusha at this time, but All I know, this is a platonic conversation.
So there weren't sparks flying at this time? 2 hours later?
2 hours.
Come on, girl.
It's one of those things where I'm like, you're Quick's friend. This can't go anywhere. Like,
So we met up the week later.
2 hours later again, we still ain't got to nobody's business. And we were just like, okay, so obviously we're just going to be friends. You know, like
we just enjoyed his company.
We enjoyed each other's company.
Okay.
And so I invited him to a holiday party like a week later. And I invited him to my Romancipation that they see on season 1. And we go to this holiday party. I'm not even kidding. He was like, what are you wearing to this holiday party? I was like, I'm going to wear red. He said, okay, it's a holiday party. I will find something complimentary. I was losing a lot of weight at this time.
You did an amazing job.
I was literally dropping pounds by the second. And so the dress that I wanted to wear did not fit. So he didn't know this. I didn't tell him. I was just, what do I have that'll fit? I had a green dress my friend gave me. I was like, that fits. I'm going to wear that. So I wore this green dress. I show up and he's dressed in a green suit. And I was like, what is happening? We had a phenomenal time. But at this point, Yusha and I are starting to get close. And so he still never shot a shot. I still have him in this friend zone because he's friends with Quick. And so we just kind of left things where they were. I created distance because we did have a lot of chemistry and we enjoyed each other's company so much, but I didn't think it was fair to Yusha.
Of course.
And eyes, you know, we're trying to see where this can go. So I was like, you know, let me put a little distance here. So we really kept in touch, but we didn't really talk that much. And after I broke up with Yusha, this was probably around the end of March last year. I want to say like first week in April. He actually hit me up and was like, I saw you and Yusha's live, and I just wanted to say I'm happy for you and
no, he wouldn't.
Congratulations. But this is the thing. He didn't know that we had broken up. I hadn't made an announcement yet. Like I hadn't said anything. So I'm like, well, about that.
So you told him.
I did. I was like, we're not together anymore. He was like, what? I just saw you.
It was just ago, right?
I'm like,
secretly he was like, yes.
I'm like, yeah, like, you know, so we just get into this whole conversation. And I told him, I said, you know, what's interesting is that Yusha and I might have never been if you would have shot a shot because I felt like we had more chemistry. And he was like, what? Why didn't you tell me? And I was like, well, why didn't you shoot a shot? And I said, no, it's okay. I wouldn't have given you a chance because you were friends with Quick. I was like, but now we're good. And he was like, well, I can fix that. He was like, what are you doing in a couple of weeks? I want to take you out. And it was like, let me check my schedule. Right? See what's going on. Honestly, we've been together ever since.
Oh my goodness.
We've been together ever since.
So that's quite a long time.
Yeah, it'll be 10 months this month.
Coming on a year, girl.
Coming on a year. Yep.
Wow, that's
I have to
amazing.
ask a question. So, did that play a role in you and Ashley's like reconciliation? The fact that there's like now this common friend.
Everybody wants to know,
like,
how did
that happen? Like, does this play a part in it?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So I will credit Ashley. She actually was very instrumental in, and I will say Sherelle too, because Sherelle was like, y'all just need to figure this out. This sound like it's real petty and y'all can get beyond like whatever happened.
Y'all had some very
heated
choice words.
Yes.
The I hate your face scene is legendary.
That was an absolute mess. We laugh about that to this day.
Right.
But she really was like, I want to try to get to know you outside of the show. So she actually invited me over to her house. We really had a come to Jesus conversation. She spoke her piece. I spoke mine.
Camera.
This is off camera.
Good.
Sometimes that's for the best.
It is for the best. And so from that point forward, we have really been intentional with trying to get to know each other. We've been on vacation together because now we do have
on vacation together?
Yeah, we went to Jamaica last year.
Did Nubu come?
Oh, Jamaica is my place.
Nubu was involved.
So speaking of coincidences, though, that was not planned. He had already booked a vacation with his guy friends. Our trip was planned impromptu. And so he was like, do you have any plans for this summer? And it was like, yeah, my friends and I are thinking about going on a trip. He was like, well, I'm going to Jamaica this summer. I'm like, okay, cool. And so as we made our plans, I was like, you know, we're going to be in Jamaica. And he was like, well, let me know when. And I was like, sure. We literally planned our dates. I had nothing to do with the planning. So when I told him our dates, he was like, are you kidding me? And I was like, no, like we're going to be there the 6th through the 9th. And he was like, so am I. I was like,
that's how I was getting married.
I was like, in Jamaica.
I was in Jamaica. My my then friend came to Jamaica the same dates, and now we're married.
See? I'm so sad. Like, it really.
So you guys met up while you were
So
out
we
there.
met up while we were out there, had an incredible time. And
Ashley and Quick were like, hey.
Quick was not there, though.
Oh, okay.
It was literally just a girl's
Was
trip.
this Mocha Fest?
No, it
Okay.
wasn't Mocha Fest. I
Okay.
want to say this was after Mocha Fest.
Okay.
Like, Mocha Fest had already happened.
Okay.
This was the randomest girls trip ever. There was no plans whatsoever. So the gag is, he was like, well, let me know where you're staying so we can like connect. We ended up staying at the same hotel.
Oh, where'd you stay? I'm curious. Don't tell nobody.
The S.
Oh.
SLS. Is it SLS? SLS Hotel is SLS.
Okay.
I don't know that one. Yeah.
SLS, yes. We
Okay.
stayed at SLS. We literally were at the same hotel. So when I got there, he was literally walking. But when I
Is that the grill though? Is that the grill?
Oh no, it's Montego Bay. It's Montego Bay.
Okay.
So that was it. But we had a phenomenal time. But we've been so like interconnected. Our friends are friends. My family loves him.
Because your mom didn't even want to meet.
Would not.
She wouldn't even get on FaceTime with them.
Woohoo.
You should.
Her ex.
Oh.
She would not meet him.
She was like, I already see you.
Yeah,
She ain't gonna last through the summer. That's what she said.
She's like, I don't want to waste my
She
time.
was not feeling it at all, so she wouldn't do it. So yeah, so it's been
It's
different.
interesting when things align in that way.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like it was really meant to be, right?
And not only just that, I feel like we were just both in a place like he's very proactive with therapy. I'm very proactive with therapy.
Necessary.
I'm so glad you're saying that too, because
Yeah.
I feel like there's still a stigma about therapy.
It shouldn't be.
It
shouldn't
really
be.
could. You guys both can't talk. Jinx.
Sorry.
No, but it really shouldn't be.
Yeah,
I
no.
feel like it's so instrumental. I couldn't have gone through my divorce without
No,
it.
it's necessary.
Yeah.
And it
Even
helps
in
you
the
grow.
good times.
Yeah.
Like my husband and I are in therapy, and we're going to continue therapy in the good and the bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
I go
think
to a
it's-
dentist.
Mhm.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mental health.
I kind of view it like a trainer.
Yeah.
If you work your body out, you need to
You
work,
gotta
your,
work
mind.
your mind.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
so I think honestly we were healed enough to really see each other.
Healed enough to see it. I love that. Yes.
Can I cheers to that too?
Absolutely.
We want to cheers to it all.
Cheers.
Any excuse to cheers is a good time for me.
But yeah, I he's not into the reality TV thing.
Yeah.
So we will never see him on a future episode.
I think that's for
alright.
best.
That's
Yeah.
alright.
And he's not public, but we are not private. You're liable to run into us at any time. We're always out.
Yeah. Is his Instagram private? Tell him to keep it private.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. It's not private, but
They gonna find
he's
us.
not.
My husband keeps it locked down because as soon
Yeah.
as I mention him, he says he gets 50 requests.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
locks
no.
it down.
I
Yeah.
don't ever mention this name. I don't ever tag him. I don't ever post any
But we'll
pictures.
see him.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh my god, there's gonna be winter and boo sightings now.
Right. Mystery man with a smiley face over his face.
Yeah.
No, it's just been probably one of the healthiest relationships that I've had. And I think,
I really love that.
yeah, I think it came at the right time.
Mhm.
So it's interesting to kind of go through this season and watch the demise of this relationship. But, you know, I'm chilling over here.
So that was
I won. That's all good.
How does it feel? Because the current season that's airing right now of Love and Marriage DC was filmed literally a year ago. Like literally an entire year ago. How do you feel about like looking back on the space that you were in then?
It's a little odd.
Yeah.
I would be lying if I said that it wasn't, but it definitely is a little odd. And I think it's unfortunate because there's so much that has happened.
A lot.
Mhm.
Like
Seems like a lifetime ago, right?
It does. And unfortunately, like we're trying to do our best to close in the gap for the fans. But for me, I'm all about remaining true to myself. I can't pretend to be in a space that no longer exists.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sit here and respond like I'm still in this relationship when I know I'm not. And not only am I not, I've moved on to
Another.
And that's not fair to your new partner.
It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful because of what we're building. So it's like, no, I have to be honest. I don't want you guys to sit here and view this like it's real time. It's with the understanding that this was old. But yeah, it's a little strange and it's so much that has changed. I don't know. It's just, we're doing our best, I think, collectively to try to navigate it. But certainly opens up old wounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when we're seeing you, you and Ashley aren't friends, but now you guys are.
No, we're not. We're not nearly. No.
We're not. But in real time, it's like, oh, now they're friends and they're not cool with with other ones.
Yeah,
And, you know,
the fans are lost.
Yes.
The fans are definitely
If you follow Twitter, then you know, or X or whatever it's called now, then you understand the timeline.
Oh, the fans think we formed an alliance. And I'm like...
So, alliance is a
taboo word, but a recurring theme.
It's a recurring theme for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, some of your cast members are big on
alliances.
Well, I'm not. And it does not serve me to form an alliance. And
this is not Survivor.
It's not Survivor. And we're not in high school.
Yes.
And for me, I would have to have a reason. Alliances have to be beneficial.
Right. Mutually.
There's no benefit to having an alliance against my cast members.
I can see that.
Because we're adults. We don't need that.
It's pointless. What do we get out of forming an alliance?
That's why are we against people in the first place? Like,
it's just weird. So I don't... It's hard because they're trying to connect the dots for people, but it's really no different for us. We're trying to connect the dots for people too. But I think people are just going to believe what they see. And unfortunately, that's what they see is their reality. Absolutely. Yeah. So at some point, we just are kind of like, well, whatever. You know, you guys can have it. But Ashley and I do go live to recap after every episode, which has been interesting. But yeah, we're going to continue, and I think it's good. But
why is it so interesting?
Because we watch these shows, and then you see Twitter, and then you know you got to relive in some cases the BS, and so it's tough. I try to be as objective as possible. I don't hate these people. I don't know a lot of them well enough to hate them. Yeah. But it is sometimes hard to kind of juggle like the shade and the foolery you see, and it's like. Okay. You know, like
I've watched you guys lives, and I think you do an amazing job of holding people accountable. Like, are you really sure that you're telling the truth?
You're very real with people, regardless of where you stand in your relationship with them.
Yes, you are.
And that's the reason
whether
why I
you're
like that.
friends or not, you're going to hold people accountable. Your friends or they're not friends. So,
Absolutely.
You're going to hold them accountable for their actions.
I do my best. Yeah. I do my best. And I think some people say, well, no, you don't hold Ashley accountable. It's like, that's not true, because Ashley and I still don't always agree on everything.
It's not even a tweet that you
Absolutely.
That you posted.
So, it's not, we're not always going to agree, but I'm also not for ganging up on a person. And as a woman who dealt with that season 1.
Yeah, they went hard on you season 1, sis.
I'm not ever going to agree with that. I don't care how that makes me
just
look.
because you're on the other side, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm like, I don't know why you would think that I would be okay with that out of anyone. Like, I battled that online even as recently as last night. People were like, well, you got to watch Ashley. And I'm like, well, what would make you think that if I can't trust her, that I can trust anybody else on this cast? They all were equally responsible for coming at me last season. So it's like, I'm not against anyone. And people are allowed to have an opinion. That doesn't mean we're always going to agree. But I just think it's important that we are individual thinkers and not, like you said, I can't stand groupthink. I abhor it, actually. Because to me, it shows lack of intelligence if you can't think for yourself.
It's okay to agree to disagree.
Absolutely.
And you can still be friends after that. Like, we don't have to always have the same thought.
Right.
We don't have to hate each other because we have differences of opinion. So that's kind of tough to navigate, but we're doing the best that we can. We got... I think, oh gosh, I'm trying to count down. So we have 12 more episodes to go, including
this reunion. Is a long season.
Yes, because they actually added an episode. So there's 11 episodes in a 3-part reunion.
A 3-part reunion.
How long were y'all in that reunion for?
25 years.
Yeah. Because we know how
long reunions.
And ours is only 2 parts.
Yes. And I know you watched our reunion. It was a very difficult experience. However, like, I can't imagine a 3-part. I mean, ours probably could have been split. We had so much
could have been 3 parts.
Drama. But
3-part reunion.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And it was some craziness.
I can't wait to watch it.
Oh, it's full of drama. That it definitely gives.
So what else can we expect to see this season on Love and Marriage DC?
Well, let's see. You guys
are going to... her accent.
I love it. Where are you from exactly?
I'm from Arkansas.
Arkansas?
Yes. Okay, I'm a Southern belle. Oh, gosh. So, yes, what you hear is the twang come out.
I love it. It's the cutest thing ever.
So...
And how long have you been in the DMV area?
Since 2005.
Oh, okay. So this is home now.
Yeah.
So almost 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, I'm Arkansas proud. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, this is definitely home now for me. But my accent still isn't completely gone. Still every now and then. I'm trying to think. So you have seen the infamous Wizards game.
The Wizards game.
And I will say that is the point where this group goes to hell.
In a handbasket.
With skis.
Oh my gosh.
That scene.
Everything comes to a head.
When I say from that point forward, we are on a consistent decline as a cast. We do not recover from that scene.
There's no recovery.
No, because there's so many things that are being alleged.
Because that was a lot.
And there are sides being taken. I was not present at this scene. So once again, like the Christmas party, I'm hearing secondhand. Thank God.
You were absent.
Thank God.
Very critical moments.
No, thank God. Because they love to blame everything on me. So they ain't got no reason to say that, well, it was winter. Winter was not present. So I'll be getting a lot of the information secondhand, but there are obviously very clear sides.
People love to pick sides.
They love to pick sides, but who's right or wrong is very much in discussion for the remainder of the season. But our cast doesn't recover from the Wizards game. And for me, you guys are still seeing me very much in a love bubble. Clear up until we get to the cast trip. Okay. That's when things kind of pivot for me. But yeah, our cast our cast does not recover from the Wizards games. And it's unfortunate. I feel like there were points where we could have come together and maybe found some synergy, but I think there's a lot of egos. I think there's a lot of finger pointing and blame passing. I think there is a lack of accountability to go around. And that's just difficult to overcome. So it's not that the cast is just disjointed. Like there is a literal split. There's
we know that.
Right. There's this side and there's that side. And there are people that want you to choose, but I still maintain I'm in the middle because I don't care enough. This has nothing to do with me, to be perfectly honest. I can see fault all the way around. If I'm being honest, I can literally pinpoint different points where this person could have responded differently or that person could have responded differently. And we literally could have maybe had a kumbaya moment and moved forward. But when you have the combination of things happening while we're filming and things happening behind the scenes and on social media, it unfortunately inflates the issue and makes it dang near impossible.
It regresses progress.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
So it's just, for me, it's been almost kind of sad.
It is.
To witness. Because
that's why I'm hearing your voice. It's like disappointment.
I'm very disappointed. I actually tweeted that. I'm very disappointed in this cast. Because I feel like at some point, there's too much ego.
Yeah.
And as a cast, and I think I can say this all the way around, where most casts have been successful, the egos have had to be tamed in a way where there's a mutual respect for what everyone brings to the table. And I don't feel like my cast has that. And it's made it like it's not enjoyable anymore.
Yeah.
It's so much bickering and blaming and complaining and
it's like gridlock.
Throwing shade and subliminals, and it's like, what are we doing? It's embarrassing, honestly. And it's not something that I would have ever personally saw myself being a part of, because I feel like this cast has a lot of potential. That's where the disappointment comes in. I think, honestly, if people were to seriously put their egos aside and respect what everyone brings to the table, this cast could probably rival Love and Marriage Huntsville.
I would agree.
Potential too.
I would agree. So I do feel like a lot of people on your cast, I don't want to say a lot, I will say some people on your cast are really big on the pick sides. I mean, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes information, but at my wedding, you know, I invited several of our cast members and people from our season to my wedding. And some members of your cast were texting them like, why are you at the Kia's wedding? You're picking sides by posting the Kia's wedding and blah, 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 because, you know, you shouldn't be like, How old are you? You're older
can't
than all of
celebrate
us.
her love.
Yeah,
without
they're
being against their love.
because people are at my wedding and picking sides. Like, why are we picking sides? We're celebrating love. Didn't we meet each other because we were looking for love?
And there are no sides since the beginning because everyone went on with the intention of finding love. But
finding
also,
love.
Our season's like 2 years in the rear now.
2021.
So there is no sides anymore.
This is sad. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's sad, and I don't. Where this ends up, I do not know. What I do know is that I will be ever so grateful when the season wraps
over
to take a break from just the noise of it all. Because, of course, this creates a very chaotic social media scene.
I can imagine.
And as a result, unfortunately, creates a very chaotic social scene. And my life is not like that.
Right, because now you're out in public and you're at events and you have people that are upset with you or are...
It's weird.
It's very weird.
It's weird.
We're grown.
Yeah, and I legitimately don't have beef with anyone. So I'm not going to pretend for the sake of a show. That's weird.
Mm-hmm. So my one question to you is, is that, is there anything that you look back on and you're like, I wish I would have done that differently? I wish I would have. We're talking a lot about the cast as a whole, right?
Yeah.
But we can't talk to the cast as a whole right now.
Right.
So I want to ask you, so what about you? What do you feel like? Is there anything you're like, I wish I would have done this differently, or I own this part of it, or hey, in retrospect, I should have handled that maybe,
Yeah, season 1 for sure. Season 1, I wish I understood reality TV better. I would have chose what I said better.
It's different.
Yeah. So
you didn't realize they could use those sound bites in different places, did you?
And I'm a very quick-witted person. I can come up with stuff on the fly. If I had known that would have been taken, I would have been like, oh, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say this. And this is not shown, I don't believe, this season, because we've seen it. Quick and I and Jamie and I had a very pivotal moment that enabled for us to move forward, where I actually apologized to them. Because, a lot of the theme of this season is Joy being mad at Black for something that happened years ago. And for me, and it's fine, I'm not taking away from her. Whatever happened between them happened between them. Mm-hmm. None of my business. The issue I have is very much like what happened season 1. Sometimes we can be so gung-ho on proving a point that we're not looking at the fact that this is still a human being. They still have a family. They still have a reputation. And we're on a national public platform. And so anything that you say definitely can reflect negatively on a person. Absolutely. Yeah. So for me, to publicly uphold a beef that is a decade old.
And
to put it out there, right? That this person, and I think it was clarified that Arena said this, it doesn't matter who said it. It's being discussed that this man is shady on a national platform. Let's reverse it. If that was said about any of y'all, you would not like it. In fact, I was taken to task for publicly stating and questioning your integrity as a married man.
Right.
Was I not?
Yeah, and you don't know what type of work he's put in to be a better person since then.
Absolutely.
Whether it's true or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, that was an aha moment because I'm like, Black is my brother. I don't play about Black. Like, he's done a lot for me. I'm being serious. Like, he took on my project.
Yes.
I'm a new artist. He didn't have to.
And I'm making great music.
Absolutely. So for me, it made me think, I understood Joy's position. Like, sometimes you
she's
like, well,
loyal.
I know what I know. That's how I felt. I felt like she was like, well, I know what I know. But does it have to be addressed like that to the point where it can really damage someone's reputation?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. She didn't do anything to you.
And so
Sherelle and I have a lot of mutual friends.
Yeah. So that was, for me at that moment.
And Walter and Black are friends.
Yeah.
So I literally turned to Quick and Jamie and I said, I apologize to y'all because I'm witnessing Joy basically be me. This was me. I basically said in my seat, like, I know what I know.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to apologize for that. But I didn't also understand the impact of me saying those things.
Yeah.
And that people really could have been taken to task, or that could have really been detrimental. How is this okay when your friend does it? And that's the only thing I've had with Jamie and Arena. Like, you got to hold Joy accountable for that. Because just like y'all didn't like when I did it, it's not okay when she does it.
No,
and so I literally looked them dead in their face and I apologized. And from that point forward, That's how Quick and I were able to move forward. Clear, but to that point, Quick wouldn't even fool with me. And I don't blame him. Mm-hmm. And Jamie didn't fool with me. And I don't blame him. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't until that happened that we were actually able to move forward as a cast. So I hate that that's been the storyline. Yeah. And for me, I've been able to ride the middle because I can't objectively see all sides because I've realistically been on both sides. Yeah. It doesn't make it right, though.
And that's one thing I love about you, that you really take accountability.
I commend you for that.
Yes, absolutely.
So, because
it's not about taking the L. It's just about owning it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Owning your moment.
No. Absolutely. Yeah. And people are like, are you retracting? It's not about that. It's owning that I could have chosen better words.
Exactly.
I could have chosen not to say it at all. Or mention, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And if I wasn't going to follow through with what people said with showing receipts, what was the point of bringing it up, right? Mm-hmm. And I can own that. Well, it was about throwing that dart because a dart was thrown at me. Mm-hmm. Two wrongs do not make a right.
And this one moment of maybe like poor judgment or whatever doesn't define you as a person.
No.
That's another thing. Just because you may not have handled one situation great doesn't mean that you can't take accountability, right? Because people are so worried that that's going to like label them forever. Yeah. And I think that's great that you were like, listen, I know who I am and I'm going to like say that I didn't do this, but hey, I'm much more than that.
Yeah, I can own that was not the right thing. Yeah. So I would have definitely done that differently. I'm very proud of how I handled season 2. I don't regret a thing. Mm-hmm. I said what I said.
Before we got started, I was like, girl, I think you're really coming into your own in this thing.
I have said what I said and I stand on what I said. Mm-hmm. And so, I think I've grown a lot. I think the audience has seen Winter grow. I think that's what I've been able to give to the audience, that, you don't have to have a perfect disposition all the time. It's not realistic. None of us are perfect. So we're all going to have our ups and downs.
But that's that churchy thing. Yeah. You want to kind of present.
I mean, setting yourself up for failure when you're like trying to be perfect all the time. So
it's a new winter. It's a new season.
It is definitely a new season. I'm grateful when it is a new season in real life because I don't like the cold. But I'm very proud of myself. I feel like I've done a lot of growing and coming into my own as a person and as a woman. I hope the best for this cast. I would love to see them get beyond it. I don't know that we can. That's my honest assessment, just knowing what I know. Mm-hmm. But it's going to take a lot of people getting beyond themselves and these egos.
Well, good luck with that.
Good luck with that. So going forward, so we're at the beginning of this new season TV. Yes. So what else can the fans expect to see in this season? We got a lot of spicy episodes coming up. Like, what can we expect? I know you can't share much, but what can you share with us?
Oh gosh. You're just gonna see how things continue to decline. We do have an amazing. Wow. Yeah, they do continue to decline. Our cast trip was great. It didn't go 100% well, but it was a great time.
Wait, did you break an ankle during the cast trip? That was you, right?
That was
yes, trying to ski. Yes. Okay. I'm trying to remember back, because it was, again, so long ago. Yes. But I remember that you got injured trying to ski.
And the crazy part is that Quick and I were actually two of the more experienced skiers.
And you got hurt. Wow.
It was interesting. But yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to suggest that we switch up the vibe.
Okay, vibe switch.
And move into game time.
Okay.
You want to play a game?
I'm ready.
Okay. So we're going to go into a game called Sip or Spill. And in this game, we're going to ask you a series of questions. Okay. And you're going to have the opportunity to either spill
your tea.
Mm-hmm. If not, you have to take a sip of the champagne.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, kick us off.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to start off going way back.
Okay.
Can you tell us about your first love? Who was your first love?
Oh, gosh.
I know.
Sheesh.
How old were you?
I don't mind telling it. I just got to think. I was 16.
Okay.
And he actually didn't live in my city. He lived about 2.5 hours away.
Really? How did you meet at 16?
We met at an FBLA conference.
Future Business Leaders of America. I think we've lived the same life. I really think that we have.
I was heavily involved in FBLA. Yes. So I met him and we literally dated from 16 until 19.
Wow.
That's a pretty significant relationship.
And then the next guy you dated, you married at 20, right?
Correct. 19.
I'm 19.
I literally.
So you fall hard, girl.
Yeah,
you fall hard.
And serious.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're making fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
I ain't mad at you. All right, go ahead.
Next one is, what is your favorite beauty tip or trick? What is something that you're like, is your go-to?
Oh gosh, what is my favorite? Oh, Vaseline on your feet.
I did that before
you
got
before you go to sleep?
Before you go to sleep.
Yes.
Vaseline on your
Before
shoe.
you go to sleep, yes.
Yes.
Y'all be zooming in, and I'm trying to. Matter of fact,
So
let me
I've
put
done
this
that,
over
but
here.
now I'm switching to coconut oil because I heard it's
Yes.
a little bit more like natural, and I'm gonna
Y'all
say
ain't
about
gonna
like,
catch me slipping.
Absolutely. And coconut oil is good, but I will say there is nothing like a little Vaseline.
Petroleum jelly.
Petroleum.
Come
Yes.
on.
like never
It's just good. And sleeping soft.
Yeah.
It's like having a pedicure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what do you consider your biggest flaw? Are you willing to admit that? Are you going to sip or you're going to spill your tea?
No, I'll tell it. I'm
Okay.
very hard-headed.
Are you hard-headed?
I'm very hard-headed and stubborn.
In what way?
I can say, I mean, my family would probably say all the ways, because once I am decided, I'm decided. It doesn't matter what people tell me. I'm going to trudge like all the way ahead.
This is not a question, but when is your birthday?
I'm a Libra.
That is so
Not too
natural.
bad.
Like Libras are usually indecisive, but you have like this conviction to you that's
So
uncharacteristic.
I am very indecisive for certain things,
Yeah.
but Libras are also very justice driven. So when we feel like something is right, we're willing to ride for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is very much a Libra characteristic
I get
as
that.
Two
well.
of my best friends, like two of my closest friends, are Libras.
Yes.
So you are my people.
Yeah. So,
Okay, here's another curveball. Have you ever kissed a girl?
No,
Never?
honey, I'm strictly dickly.
I know that's right.
Cheers. Nothing against it, to each his own, but no, I'm good on it.
Okay, what is your
Yes.
biggest vice? Like, what is your like toxic trait?
Toxic trait.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you burn me, I'm gonna burn the whole house down.
It's coming down.
That's
Inferno.
my toxic trait. I don't have. There's no middle.
No gray. I'm the
There's
same
no
way. It's black or
gray
white.
area.
There's no gray area.
Either I'm for you or I'm against
you.
And if I'm against you, you better duck.
I'm just like, I'm gonna let karma deal with you because it always does.
So
That's
I
just
will
me.
say,
I'm gonna help karma out.
Yeah.
Karma is fighting a lot of my battles right now.
Yeah.
And thank you, Ashley, for fighting my battles on behalf of karma.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna help karma just a little.
Okay, so who is the fakest person on Love and Marriage DC, man or woman?
Sip or spill?
Sip or spill?
Child, I'm a sip. It's taking all I have not to spill.
Okay, who is the realest person on Love and Marriage DC, man or woman?
Realest person on Love. Realest person on Love and Marriage DC? I would honestly say Sherelle. That baby is gonna give all her life and all the details you don't want to know. So I would say Sherelle right there.
I like Sherelle. Like I said, I've never met her in person, but we have a lot of mutual friends, and everything that I've heard and seen about Sherelle.
I would definitely say I would give it to Sherelle for sure,
Aww.
because everyone doesn't want to present all parts of them,
Right.
and she's willing to do it at the expense of people like literally coming for her for it.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't have this, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Knowing what you know now, would you do it again?
No.
Would you be on?
No.
Okay.
No, I think knowing what I know now, I honestly believe that I would have ended up in media regardless.
You have that personality. So,
I think I would have ended up in media regardless. I think I needed to connect with the right people to get me the right opportunities. And because I know what I know now, no, I would have passed. Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised to hear you say that.
Yeah.
There's been so much growth for you. I'm surprised to hear you say that. Okay.
I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't.
You're like, I would have done that anyway.
Well, I'm happy you did because we were able to meet you, get to know you a little bit, really connect with you. I feel like we have a lot in common.
We do.
You know,
We
so
do.
I'm excited,
Thank
you know.
you.
So
That's great being
thank you again.
Thank
So
you
can you tell, thank you again for coming, but can you
Yeah.
tell us more about how people can connect with you, what you have going on?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the Romancipation is coming up on February 17th,
Mhm.
Lovers and Friends edition. So whether you're single, you're a couple, whether you're engaged or married, come out
Lovers
and have a good
friends.
time.
Yeah. Who all gonna be there? Because I'm
Who all
not
gonna be there? Oh gosh. So we do have our dynamic relationship panel.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Tasia.
Yes, you do know
Tasia's on
Tasia.
our panel
Okay,
this
okay.
time. So I'm excited to have her. So Tasia is one of our female panelists. We have a single male. We have a dating couple and a married couple that's been together 25 plus years.
Okay.
So we want to get range this time. We are at the Commentary in Arlington.
Okay.
So that's a new venue partner for us. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to have live performances for some incredible artists. Mm-hmm. I'll be performing at the end of the show. I actually have a new single dropping on Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. The name of the single, I think I could say, if my boo won't kill me for saying this, but it's called Fall.
Are you
heard it here first?
It's called Fall. So fun fact, my boo actually co-wrote and produced this song.
So he's a creative.
He is a creative.
He is a friend with Quick, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So he's a very talented musician and a musical director, and has worked with some of the most incredible acts like all over the world. Mm-hmm. So he wrote this song, and it is based off of our love story. So literally that song is coming out on Valentine's Day. I perform at Bowie Performing Arts Center on Valentine's Day.
I love Bowie. Like we are there. I'm going to perform there this week. Like we have all of our shows there.
Okay.
It's down the street.
I'll be there performing on Valentine's Day. And this song is one of the songs I'm doing live for the first time.
Oh.
So I'm excited. It drops on all platforms on Valentine's Day. So we're working steadily to get music out and promote that particular part. My new book, The Single Housewife Affirmation Cookbook, is available. So go to my website, simplywinter.com.
I'm going to need that because I don't very cook very much. Like,
you can learn through this book.
Her fiance cooks all the time. And
he's a cooking relationship.
Okay. My meal prep service cooks and delivers to my door.
Yes. So this is for my ladies that want to learn or maybe know how and just want new recipes. Mm-hmm. I'm a Southern Belle. I love to cook.
Yes.
My babe is vegan, so I've learned how to pick up vegan recipes. So there's some vegan recipes.
I'm pescatarian. I haven't had meat in 12 years.
Yes. So this book covers everything. Mm-hmm. I am from the South, so you got to have your good Southern cuisine in there.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But it's filled with etiquette tips and affirmations.
Oh, I love that.
We call it the Affirmation Cookbook. So
say the name one more time.
The Single Housewife.
The Single Housewife.
Okay. Affirmation Cookbook. I feel like I was a housewife for 10 years.
Yeah.
But even though I was divorced, I still moved like a housewife.
Yeah.
And so I just call myself the Single Housewife.
Why not?
So I feel like you should actually practice what you want to manifest.
Exactly. So if you build it, they will come.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this book is like an ode to my single house.
And if it makes you happy, please yourself. Why not? You know what I'm saying?
Why not?
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. It's my 9th book. And
ninth book.
Yeah. So this is my 9th book. I've written 8 books before this, and I'm actually re-releasing 4 of the books I've written before.
Wow. That is so impressive. I did not know that, Winter.
I knew you were an author. I didn't know it was 9.
I didn't know it was 9 either.
9.
Wow.
Yes. So I actually have had an author page on Amazon since 2016. Like my books have been in Barnes and Noble.
Wow.
And I know I don't talk about it often.
That's amazing. Are they in the cookbook area?
No. So it's more self-help and faith books. Some of them, I have a fiction book. So I wrote a book called Divorced in the City.
Okay.
And it was my dating journal when I first divorced, dated in DC, which was absolutely insane.
Oh, I mean,
we are full aware of dating in DC.
Yeah, so
I imagine.
I nicknamed the chapters after the men I dated. So I didn't want to write their names.
I'm gonna get that one.
But yes, it's really, really good. I really want to pitch it as a show. I think it would make a great kind of Netflix sitcom. But so I'm working on a lot of things. My acting debut for Hush season 2 just aired a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
so I'm getting into acting and taking acting classes and doing all the things that will put me in a position to succeed in the media and entertainment industry. Outside of that, I am growing my own business, and so I'm speaking a lot, and I'm a busy woman.
You go, girl.
You are a
You're a Renaissance woman.
I try.
Thank you for making time for us.
I know, but it's all the
appreciate
things
it.
I'm passionate about. I really, really am. I've been at this a long time, so I'm just really getting back into what I feel like God put me in this earth to do.
I really wish, I know that we're closing, but I really wish the show showed more of you
your
in this
life.
way. More of all your accomplishments, more of the different dynamics and layers that you have, because you don't get to see
your life
and
not your strife. That's what we want to hear.
You would be surprised. A lot of fans feel that way. They don't feel like they learned enough about who I am.
Right.
And so I take it as a challenge, right? So that's a challenge for me to actually be more proactive about sharing and growing my YouTube channel.
Humble brag a little bit.
Yes. We are working.
We're
working on the YouTube channel that will depict a lot more of what I do, not just professionally, but also I'm very big in the like philanthropy and supporting different initiatives. I do have two autoimmune disorders, so I do a lot of patient advocacy work with different pharmaceutical companies.
So important.
Because we talk a lot about Black health and how
and we're over indexed.
Absolutely, so I'm huge into that. I've done like major campaigns for major pharmaceutical companies. I can't name them because of my NDA, but I've also done national campaigns for March of Dimes. My 2 younger kids are preemies. And I also have lost a baby. So infant loss awareness and preemie support. So I've done like all of that stuff. So I'm very huge about giving back. Yes. So it's like an onion. So I do wish you guys saw more of that, but I take it as a challenge to be more proactive about doing that myself and building my own media empire so people can see those things.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Check her out. Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you again.
Thank you
for
having me. This is fun.
Thank you so much.
We've met you before, but it's great to have this intimate conversation and to share it with you guys. So we hope that you enjoyed it. We hope that you will continue to check Winter out on Love and Marriage DC, airing on Saturdays on the OWN network, and continue to follow us on the Keep It Cute show. So we hope to see you again next week. We have a very special episode next week. So join us then and have a great week. And we're going to continue to
keep it cute. Fingers.